This episode shocked me, because once I realized why Mr. Krabs can't fire Squidward, it absolutely blew my mind. Think about it. Squidward is lazy, rude to customers, and openly hates his job. But no matter how much he slacks off, Mr. Krabs never truly fires him. Why? Well, the answer is actually hidden across multiple episodes, and once you put them together, the truth is impossible to ignore. The first episode we need to talk about is Squid on Strike. On the surface, it's just Squidward finally taking a stand against Krabs' cheapness. He complains about unfair wages, ridiculous working conditions, and decides to go on strike, dragging SpongeBob along with him. At first, you'd think this would be the perfect chance for Krabs to fire Squidward, once and for all. Squidward is openly defying his boss, ruining business, and standing in front of the Krusty Krab with picket signs. It's the nightmare of any employer. But here's the twist. He doesn't fire him. He gets angry, he tries to wait it out, but he never actually pulls the trigger. And that tells us something important. Squidward isn't just an employee to Krabs. He plays a specific role at the Krusty Krab that goes beyond flipping patties or taking orders. So as I rewatched this episode, I realized something. If Krabs only cared about money, Squidward should have been gone years ago. But if Squidward is still here, then there has to be another reason. And it has everything to do with what Squidward represents to both Krabs and SpongeBob. When Squidward quits, the Krusty Krab doesn't just lose a cashier, it loses balance. SpongeBob spirals into chaos without Squidward's negativity to ground him. And for Krabs, that chaos means a loss of control over his prized worker. So maybe the real reason Krabs never fires Squidward isn't because he's valuable as an employee, but because he's valuable as a counterweight. But that's just the beginning, because the more you rewatch these episodes, the truth about Squidward's strange job security becomes even more obvious. So I rewatched another episode that completely changed how I saw this. In Big Pink Loser, Patrick briefly works at the Krusty Krab. And on the surface, this looks like the perfect setup for Mr. Krabs to replace Squidward, right? In Big Pink Loser, Patrick wants a trophy for doing something. SpongeBob brings him to the Krusty Krab, and Krabs, always hungry for free labor, happily hires Patrick. This should have been Krabs' dream, a new employee who might actually do a better job than Squidward. But what happens instead? Patrick fails at literally everything. He can't take orders, he can't understand basic tasks, and he can't even handle the cash register. The Krusty Krab falls into chaos with Patrick at the counter. And here's the twist. This moment reveals exactly why Squidward can't be replaced. He may be lazy, rude, and miserable, but at least he keeps the system functioning. SpongeBob stays in the kitchen, orders somehow get processed, and Krabs' money keeps flowing. This doesn't make sense at first, right? Because Squidward looks like the worst employee in the world. But when you rewatch this episode as an adult, you start to see it differently. Squidward isn't good at his job. He's just the only one who can survive next to SpongeBob without destroying the restaurant. Think about it. SpongeBob's energy is non-stop. He overwhelms everyone. The only reason the Krusty Krab runs at all is because Squidward absorbs that chaos like a sponge absorbs water. He doesn't enjoy it, he doesn't thrive, but he keeps SpongeBob contained. And Mr. Krabs knows this. He may yell at Squidward, he may threaten him, but deep down he understands the truth. Squidward is the only one who can do the job badly in exactly the right way. But here's where it gets even deeper. Because when you connect this with another episode, when Squidward openly tries to get himself fired, Krabs' real reasons become clearer than ever. And that's when the question finally gets answered. So I rewatched Squid on Strike again, but this time I looked at it differently. Not from SpongeBob's point of view, but from Mr. Krabs. And that's when I realized something strange. Squidward isn't just an employee Krabs tolerates. He's a mirror of everything Krabs secretly fears about himself. In Squid on Strike, Squidward finally reaches his breaking point. He calls out Krabs' greed, mocks his obsession with money, and exposes how badly the employees are treated. And the wild part? He's not wrong. Everything Squidward says is basically true. Krabs could fire him on the spot, but instead he argues. He bargains, and he lets the strike play out. Why? Because deep down, Squidward represents something Krabs doesn't want to face: the miserable end result of a life defined by work you hate. Squidward is Krabs' opposite, but also his shadow. Where Krabs lives for money, Squidward lives for comfort. Where Krabs pretends his greed makes him happy, Squidward embodies the emptiness that comes from chasing the wrong kind of fulfillment. It's almost like Krabs keeps Squidward around as a reminder, or maybe even a warning. Now you have to believe me, because once I noticed this, it blew my mind. Squidward is everything Krabs doesn't want SpongeBob to become. That's why he can't fire him. If SpongeBob only sees Krabs, he sees greed. But if SpongeBob sees Squidward too, he sees the cost of giving up. So maybe Squidward's real purpose at the Krusty Krab is bigger than just cashier duty. He's not just SpongeBob's anchor. He's also Krabs' living example of what happens when you let bitterness win. And in that way, Squidward's presence helps keep both SpongeBob and Krabs in check. SpongeBob stays motivated, Krabs stays greedy, and Squidward keeps being the middle ground neither of them